Power, it's the invisible currency that drives decisions, shifts outcomes, and shapes destinies. You can't always see it, but you can feel it in boardrooms, in politics, in friendships, even in families. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, navigating office politics, building your brand, or simply trying to get your ideas heard in a world overflowing with noise, one truth remains: power matters. In this video, we're diving deep into the 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene's controversial and unflinching manual for mastering influence in a competitive world. It's not a feel-good book. It's a brutal mirror held up to the strategies that people have used for centuries to rise to the top and stay there. These aren't your everyday self-help tips. These are battle-hardened laws inspired by the cold strategies of generals, ruthless kings, seductive courtiers, and master manipulators throughout history. People who understood one thing: power is not given, it's taken. Love it or hate it, power is the unspoken language behind success. And if you're not playing the game, chances are someone is playing it on you. So whether you're an entrepreneur, a leader, or just someone who refuses to be ignored, stick around. Because if power is part of life, you might as well learn the rules. The 48 Laws of Power wasn't born out of thin air, it was forged from obsession. Written by Robert Greene, a former Hollywood writer and classicist, this book is the product of years spent studying the raw mechanics of power, how it's gained, how it's lost, and how it silently governs almost every interaction in life. Published in 1998, the book quickly became a cultural phenomenon, selling millions of copies worldwide and cementing itself as a modern classic in the genre of strategy and self-mastery. But the 48 Laws of Power is not your typical self-help guide. It's sharp, it's ruthless, and it doesn't apologize. Greene's work has been both revered and reviled. Some praise it as an unfiltered truth-teller, a must-read for anyone serious about navigating the power structures of the world. Others condemn it as a manipulator's playbook, a dark guide for schemers and opportunists. But love it or hate it, the book makes one thing painfully clear: power is everywhere, and understanding it is no longer optional. Greene didn't invent these laws. He unearthed them from the dusty corners of history, from the hidden strategies of emperors, politicians, military geniuses, seducers, and strategists. From Machiavelli's political cunning, to Napoleon's battlefield psychology, to Sun Tzu's silent tactics, and even to modern power brokers like Henry Kissinger, Greene studied them all. And from that mountain of stories and strategies, he distilled 48 laws, each one a principle that has stood the test of time. His central thesis is bold. Power is amoral. It's not inherently good. It's not inherently evil. It simply is. Like gravity or fire, it can be used to build or to destroy. What matters is how you choose to use it, or defend yourself from it. Every law in the book is backed by a real-world case study. We're not talking about vague motivational quotes, we're talking about historical blueprints, cold decisions, brilliant deceptions, calculated moves. Greene shows how each law was used, sometimes to rise to the top, other times to avoid a brutal fall. He doesn't moralize, he illuminates. And here's the catch: even if you choose not to play this game, there's will. And if you don't know the rules, you're not just unprepared, you're vulnerable. Whether you use these laws to lead, to protect, to compete, or simply to understand how people operate, knowing them is not a luxury, it's a survival skill. In a world that runs on influence, reputation, and leverage, the 48 Laws of Power isn't just a book. It's a playbook, and the game is already underway. Let's break down some of the most striking laws from the 48 Laws of Power, not just to understand their content, but to unpack the deeper ideas they reveal about human nature, ambition, and the silent games being played all around us. Law 1. Never outshine the master. At first glance, this sounds counterintuitive. Isn't excellence the goal? Shouldn't you stand out, be exceptional, show your value? Yes, but only if you do it strategically. Power is emotional, ego is fragile, and if the person above you, whether it's your boss, a mentor, or a leader, feels threatened by your brilliance, your rise will be cut short. Greene illustrates this with the story of Nicolas Fouquet, the finance minister under King Louis XIV of France. Fouquet was brilliant, charming, and absurdly wealthy. To secure his position, he threw a lavish party at his own chateau, inviting the king and flaunting his taste and intellect. But instead of being impressed, Louis XIV felt humiliated, outshone by his own subordinate. Within weeks, Fouquet was arrested and imprisoned for life. The lesson: flatter egos. Never eclipse them. Make those above you feel superior, even if you're the smarter one. Because in the realm of power, perception always beats reality. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. If people know what you're up to, they can stop you. But if they're in the dark, you have the advantage. Greene argued that secrecy is power, and when you conceal your true goals, you create a space to maneuver, to negotiate, to pivot if needed. History is filled with examples. In warfare, generals have always known value deception. In the politics, true intentions are almost never stated outright. Even in business, the most strategic moves are the ones no one sees coming when sees till it's too late. It's too late. This law isn't just about lying. It's about It's about understanding and revealing too much too soon gives others control. Keep your cards close. Play your hand when it counts. Law 6. Court attention at all costs. We live in an age of visibility. Attention isn't just a commodity, it's currency. If people don't see you, they forget you. And if they forget you, you don't exist. This law is about being unforgettable. Greene points to figures like P.T. Barnum, the 19th century showman who mastered the art of spectacle. Barnum understood that controversy sells, boldness attracts, and mystery excites. In modern terms, think of social media influencers, disruptive brands, or public figures who dominate headlines, not always because they're the best, but because they're the most visible. The takeaway? Don't blend in. Don't let humility turn into invisibility. In a crowded world, silence is a slow death. Law 15. Crush your enemy totally. This law is perhaps one of the most controversial, and one of the most brutally honest. It suggests that when you take down an enemy, you must do it completely. Leave no chance for retaliation, no opportunity for revenge. Why? Because history is filled with stories where mercy backfired, where a defeated opponent returned stronger, fueled by vengeance. Greene refers to the ancient Chinese warlords, Roman generals, even modern political rivals who were spared, and came back with a vengeance. This law isn't about cruelty for the sake of it. It's about finality. If you choose conflict, finish it. Because unfinished battles often become lifelong wars. Law 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. Everyone has a pressure point. It could be a secret fear, a deep need, a past trauma, or a hidden desire. If you want influence, not just force, but leverage, you have to find that point. Greene uses the metaphor of a thumbscrew, a psychological tool you can use to gain control. This law isn't about brute strength. It's about emotional intelligence, observation, listening more than speaking, watching for micro-reactions, identifying insecurities people try to hide. Once you know what someone truly wants or fears, you gain silent power over them. And that kind of influence is the most effective because it often goes unnoticed until it's too late. Law 40. Despise the free lunch. Free things often come with invisible strings. In power dynamics, the person who gives something for free usually expects something in return: loyalty, access, or subtle control. Greene warns against this. Accepting too many favors, too many handouts, puts you in someone else's debt, and debt is weakness. Instead, always pay your way. Show that you value yourself and that you expect nothing for free. This signals independence. It commands respect. In other words, earn your place. Buy your freedom. Avoid the golden chains of generosity. Each of these laws is more than just a tip or tactic. They're windows into how people really behave. They expose the hidden rules that govern careers, relationships, negotiations, and leadership. We like to believe the world runs on fairness, kindness, or talent, and sometimes it does. But more often than not, it runs on perception, psychology, and power. Greene doesn't romanticize, he reveals. Whether you choose to use these laws, defend against them, or simply understand them, the key is awareness. Because power isn't going away. It's just waiting for those bold enough to claim it or wise enough to protect themselves from it. And that is the true value of the 48 laws of power. Not as a moral compass, but as a mirror. One that shows us how the game is played and asks us, are you ready to play it, too? So, what's in it for you? The 48 Laws of Power isn't just a book, it's a lens. A way of seeing the world for what it really is, not what we wish it were. It peels back the layers of charm, etiquette, and politeness, and shows you how people actually think, move, and manipulate behind the scenes. Whether you realize it or not, power games are being played all around you, at work, in relationships, on social media, in negotiations, in casual conversations. This book gives you the tools to spot manipulation, so you're not caught off guard by hidden agendas. Influence others subtly and effectively, without coming off as pushy or desperate. Protect your reputation and position, because one wrong move can undo years of work. Read the room, understanding who holds the power, where it flows, and how to position yourself accordingly. But let's be clear, this isn't about turning you into a puppet master or a cold strategist. You don't have to use every law. In fact, some are undeniably ruthless, even uncomfortable. But Greene's point isn't to moralize, it's to equip. Because whether or not you want to play the game is being played on you. And if you're not aware of the rules, you're operating blind. That's what makes this book so valuable. It doesn't teach you what to think. It teaches you how to think, strategically, clearly, and with eyes wide open. Whether you're a CEO managing teams, a student navigating peer pressure, an artist protecting your creative space, or just someone trying to carve out a better life, you'll find tools here. Mental models, historical insights, warnings and weapons, because in today's world, being too nice often means getting overlooked. And being too obvious can get you attacked. But being smart, being intentional, knowing when to act, and when to hold back, that's what keeps you in the game. And the 48 Laws of Power, that's your manual for playing it well. Thanks for watching. If you got value from this breakdown of the 48 Laws of Power, don't forget to hit that like button, it really helps the channel grow. And if you're into bold, thought-provoking ideas that shape how we think, lead, and win in the real world, make sure to subscribe. There's a lot more coming, because in the game of power, being right isn't enough. You have to be aware, you have to be sharp, and above all you have to be strategic.